Have you ever been stuck in your head so badly you couldn't sleep, couldn't focus, couldn't breathe? You're not broken. You're just overthinking, and it's time to break the cycle. Let me show you how. Overthinking doesn't shout. It whispers. It starts with one small worry, then another, and suddenly you're drowning in your own mind. We've all been there, lying in bed at 2 a.m., replaying that one sentence we wish we hadn't said, or second-guessing a decision we haven't even made yet. But what if there's a way out? What if, instead of overthinking everything, you could start living clearly, calmly, fully? Today I'll share 5 powerful ways to end overthinking, backed by ancient wisdom and real-life stories. Let's take a deep breath and begin. Here's the truth no one really says out loud. Overthinking doesn't mean you're being careful. It means you're scared. Scared of making the wrong move. Scared of looking foolish. Scared of messing things up. And to protect yourself, you keep thinking and thinking, hoping you'll find the perfect answer. But the more you think, the less you do. And slowly, life starts to feel like a waiting room that never calls your name. I used to call it being responsible. Triple-checking emails, rehearsing conversations in my head. But really, I was just afraid of failing, afraid of being seen, afraid of moving forward. And I know I'm not alone in that. Let me tell you a quick story. A friend of mine got an incredible job offer. New city, great pay, amazing growth. But she spent 2 weeks locked in what-ifs. What if I hate it? What if I fail? What if I regret everything? In the end, she said no. Not because it wasn't right, but because fear, dressed up as logic, told her to stay safe. That's what overthinking does. It sounds like wisdom, but it's really fear in disguise. So here's a little truth I've learned. You don't need to figure everything out. You just need to trust yourself enough to take the next step. And if that step feels scary, well, you're in the right place. Because in the next part, we're going to explore 2 ancient techniques. So simple, so powerful, they can bring you back to clarity in under 60 seconds. So now that we've named the fear, how do we stop feeding it? The answer isn't to force your mind quiet. It's to gently guide it back. Back to now. Back to you. And the best way I've found to do that? Mindfulness. But not the kind with candles and background spa music. I'm talking about ancient, time-tested mindfulness, simple enough to use anywhere, powerful enough to change everything. The first trick is mindful breathing. In Buddhist tradition, it's called anapanasati. That just means paying attention to your breath, not changing it, not fixing it, just watching it. Inhale, exhale. That's it. It sounds too simple to work until it does. Because here's the thing. You can't think about 20 things at once when you're fully focused on just this breath, just this moment. A friend of mine once told me, when anxiety hit, he'd sit still, put one hand on his chest, the other on his stomach, and just breathe. And every time his mind wandered, he'd say, "This is the only moment I need to survive." The second trick is body awareness. Ask yourself, how am I sitting right now? What do my feet feel like on the ground? What am I touching? Questions like these bring you back into your body and out of the echo chamber in your head. When you connect with your body, you reconnect with presence. And when you're present, overthinking has no room to grow. The small shift. You stop fighting your thoughts and start anchoring yourself in now. And once you know how to do that, how to really come home to the present, you start to see the tiny habits that keep pulling you away. That's where we're headed next. Sometimes, overthinking doesn't come from what you're feeling. It comes from what you're doing over and over again. Tiny, innocent habits. Things we don't even notice, but they quietly feed the storm in our minds. Let me show you 3 of them. Habit number 1, mindless scrolling. You pick up your phone to check something real quick, and 30 minutes later, You've watched 5 strangers talk about their breakups, someone's perfect morning routine, and 3 recipes you'll never cook. Your brain isn't resting, it's processing, comparing, judging, absorbing noise, and overthinking. It loves noise. Habit number 2, replaying old conversations. You know that moment when you catch yourself thinking, why did I say that? Did they think I was weird? Should I have said something else? Feels like you're problem solving, but really you're trying to control something that already happened. Something that no longer exists, except in your mind. Habit number 3, seeking constant reassurance. We ask our friends, was that okay? Do you think I messed up? Would you have done the same thing? And while it sounds like self-awareness, it's often just fear looking for permission to rest. I once coached a guy who kept texting his ex after breakups. Not to get back together, just to feel okay. He said, I just needed to know I didn't ruin everything. But what he really needed was his own voice to say that. The truth is this: overthinking doesn't always show up as thoughts. Sometimes it wears the mask of habit. The small lesson? What you repeat becomes your reality. And once you see the habit, you can rewrite the pattern. Now that we've uncovered these subtle behaviors, it's time to go deeper. Because beneath the habits are the stories we tell ourselves. Let's talk about those next. Overthinking doesn't just exhaust you, it deceives you. It makes fear sound like logic. It makes hesitation feel like wisdom. It tells you lies, and it tells them softly so you'll believe them. Let's call out 4 of those lies right now. Lie number 1, I'm just being careful. Sounds smart, right? But there's a line between preparation and paralysis. Careful gets things done. Overthinking keeps things stuck. The truth? You're not planning, you're protecting yourself from something that hasn't even happened yet. Lie number 2, if I think more, I'll stay in control. But has that ever actually worked? Most of life's turning points don't come with warning signs. They come with leaps. And you don't get clarity before the leap. You get it after. Lie number 3, if I mess up, it's over. No, it isn't. Failure stings, yes, but it also teaches. I once gave the worst presentation of my life in front of 50 people. I forgot half my slides, fumbled my words, and wanted the floor to swallow me. But guess what? I learned more from that 10-minute disaster than from any of my perfect days. Lie number 4, if I don't overthink, I'll make a mistake. Actually, it's often the overthinking that causes the mistake. Excellence comes from clarity, not clutter. From presence, not panic. So here's a gentle reminder. Not every voice in your head deserves a microphone. You don't have to believe everything you think. The small lesson? You're allowed to move forward before you feel 100% ready. That's not recklessness, that's courage. And sometimes courage starts with a single pause, a breath, a better question. Which brings us to our final part. 5 questions that can bring you back to the present whenever your mind starts spinning. When your mind starts spinning, you don't always need a solution. Sometimes, you just need a pause, a gentle interruption, a whisper that says, hey, come back here. Here are 5 questions that do just that. Questions you can ask anytime your thoughts get too loud. They won't erase your problems, but they will bring you home to the only place where peace is possible. Right now. Question 1. What am I doing right now? Just say it out loud. I'm sitting. I'm holding my phone. I'm watching a video. This tiny act of naming snaps you out of the spiral. Question 2. What can I hear? The hum of the fridge, birds outside, your own breath. Tuning into sound anchors you to the present like a quiet reset button. Question 3. What do I see? Really look. Colors, shadows, light. Let your eyes notice, not just look. Question 4. What am I grateful for right now? Big or small? A warm drink, a safe room, A second chance. Gratitude grounds you faster than logic ever could. Question 5. Is this thought helping me or hurting me? That one. That's the game changer. Because just asking it gives you a choice. And once you realize you have a choice, you're no longer stuck. So here's the final truth. Overthinking will visit you. That's human. But you don't have to let it move in. With breath, with presence, with a few good questions, you can gently show it the door. Sparkles, if this video helped you breathe a little deeper, share it with someone else who's been living too much in their head. And before you go, tell me in the comments, which of these 5 questions will you carry with you today? You've made it this far. That means something. You're already on your way home.